Is the BLU Vivo X5 a good phone to buy? Well, in this video, we're going to find out. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with my BLU Vivo X5 review. Now this phone, along with the BLU Vivo XL5, are two new budget phones from BLU. So if you go onto the Amazon listing, you'll actually see two options. You'll see the option, of course, for this phone, but then also an option for the XL5. The two devices do have a lot in common, and this one is the cheaper of the two. Now definitely take a look at my BLU Vivo X5 versus BLU Vivo XL5 video to see my full comparison between the two devices. Now originally, the BLU Vivo X5 was first offered at an initial promo price of $79.99. But as of the time of me making this video, it's currently being offered for $99.99. Now I don't think that price is bad at all, but I definitely recommend that you take a look at the link in the video description to see the current pricing for this phone on Amazon. Now this device is GSM unlocked, which means in the US it will work with any GSM carrier. So it's going to work with AT&T and T-Mobile, as well as Metro by T-Mobile and Cricket. And you can also use this with smaller GSM carriers such as Mint Mobile and Straight Talk. So you get pretty good compatibility. Now if you use Sprint or Verizon, you shouldn't get this phone. Now the device features a 5.7-inch display coming in at 720p. With a 272 ppi with an 18:9 aspect ratio. So as you can see with the design here, we do not get a notch at the top, so it's more of a traditional design. Now for some of you, you might prefer that because I know that not everybody likes having a notch on their phone. You do get decently large sized bezels though on the top and bottom, so it is one of the compromises that comes along with getting a very inexpensive device like this one. Now, even though this device does feature a 720p display, it does look very crisp and clear. I am a fan of it. It's not the best out there, of course, like it's not an AMOLED display, but still, it's a good looking display. It'll definitely get the job done, and for the price of this phone, it certainly over-delivers in that category. Now, up top here, we have the earpiece, front-facing camera, which is 8 megapixels, and as you can see, we have a front-facing flash. So if you find a front-facing flash to be an appealing feature, then you're definitely going to like the BLU Vivo X5. Now later on in the video, you will see some photo and video samples from that front-facing 8 megapixel camera, so stay tuned for that. The BLU Vivo X5 features 64 gigabytes of internal storage, which is really a nice thing to see. I'm really glad that they included so much internal storage with the phone. And also, if 64 gigs is not enough for you, you can even add a micro SD card to expand that storage. But the truth is that nothing beats the good old-fashioned internal storage. And sure, having a micro SD card is great for storing your photos and music, but still, there's many advantages with having a lot of internal storage. And what's wild too is that at the $99 price tag, you get 64 gigs of internal storage here with the BLU Vivo X5, but there's also people out there paying $1,000 for the iPhone 11 Pro, and that device also features 64 gigs of internal storage. So pretty amazing that BLU was able to offer that much storage at such an affordable price. The BLU Vivo X5 does not feature wireless charging, unfortunately, but we do get a fingerprint sensor on the back, and it does work very well. So unlike other phones I've used in the past in this price range, this phone actually has a good fingerprint sensor that's nice and accurate and quick. Now also on the back side, we have the rear camera module, and with that camera, we just get one camera, and it is 13 megapixels. Now despite having just one camera on the back side, we do still get portrait mode, which you can actually activate by tapping on that button at the top of the photo app. So it is very nice to see that we do get a 13 megapixel camera with the phone, and like I mentioned, a little bit later in the video, you will see some test results from that. Now the phone features 3 gigabytes of RAM and has the Unisoc SC9863A processor. So if you're not familiar with Unisoc, I don't blame you because I actually wasn't even that familiar with it until recently. But Unisoc is a new and upcoming brand of budget processors that are making their way over to more and more budget phones. So the processor itself actually has performed very well as I've used this device. I am happy with the performance I get from it. And for those of you who care, I did run an Antutu benchmark, and this is the benchmark score I got for the phone. I'm not sure why it says G6 at the bottom. I believe the BLU G6 is just a reference device that they have that this phone is based off of. I'm not sure why it says G6. I believe that's the reference code name for the phone. But as you can see, we get a score of 75258 for the main benchmark score. Also for the CPU score, we get 34107. So if you're looking to upgrade to this device, I definitely recommend that you install Antutu Benchmark on your current phone and see what kind of scores you get with that device, and then compare those scores to this phone to see if you're really getting much of an improvement. Of course, as I'm always reminded in the comments, just because a benchmark score is better with one phone over another doesn't necessarily mean that real-world performance is better, but it's still an interesting thing to know and be aware of. And certainly if one phone has an extremely high benchmark score and another phone has an extremely low benchmark score, then there's a good chance that the phone with the higher benchmark score does indeed perform better. But of course there are many other things that can impact the score, such as software optimization. Now the phone features video recording at 1080p at 30 frames per second, not bad, especially for a budget phone like this one. It features a 2800 milliamp hour removable battery. So yes, it has a removable battery, which I'll show you in a little bit. And the phone runs Android 9 Pie, and this is pretty much a stock version of Android 9 Pie. Really the only changes that have been implemented by BLU is that we have some bloatware on here, such as a news app, some shortcuts for Amazon, Weather, BLU News, Facebook, Bing, and Yahoo. We have Opera and Solitary, Pandora, and Yahoo Mail, but you can easily uninstall all of that bloatware if you wish. So like I mentioned before, we're getting a very nice 720p display with the phone, a very solid 18:9 aspect ratio. Nice to see that pretty much all phones nowadays have moved over to 18:9 instead of the traditional 16:9. The reason why 18:9 is better is because the phone is a little bit skinnier but taller, allowing you to fit more content in, especially for social media. What's interesting, if you think about it, back when smartphones were initially launched, they weren't used quite as much for social media. What's interesting is that when smartphones originally started featuring 16:9 displays, they weren't used quite as often for social media. But over the last decade, people are using social media more and more on their phones. I'm sure you can probably recall, if you're a Facebook user, for example, that when you first started using Facebook, you probably never used it on your phone, even if your phone did have capabilities to use Facebook. But nowadays, it seems like most people don't even turn on their computer anymore and instead just go onto their phones to use these various social media platforms. So because of that, having a taller display like this one has with an 18:9 aspect ratio makes the phone even better optimized for the best social media experiences. Now taking a look at the left side here, we have nothing. Then on the right side, we have the volume button and power button. This phone features a plastic band running around the sides. The phone feels decently sturdy though, despite it being plastic. Now on the top, we have the micro USB port for charging and data transfer, and we have the 3.5mm headphone jack. It is a bit strange that this phone has both of those peripherals on the top of the device. I definitely prefer both of those to be on the bottom, but I suppose it's one of the compromises that comes along with the very budget price tag of this phone. Then on the bottom of the phone, we just have the microphone, and that's it. We also have a little place where you can dig your fingernail in to pry off the back of the device, which I'll be showing you in a second. Now on the back side, we have this pretty interesting kind of fake leather material. It's certainly not leather at all, and the stitching is completely fake as well, but that's fine. I actually kind of like this material, and I think it looks pretty unique and different. It doesn't really absorb fingerprints, but I did notice that it did pick up a little bit of like grease from my fingers, even though my fingers really aren't even greasy at all. But on the back, we have the camera module, we have the flash, we have the fingerprint sensor, then down below we have the speaker. Now one of the things I'm not a big fan of with this phone is that it's a bit difficult to pry the backside off of it. Like seriously, I feel like I'm either going to break my fingernail or I'm going to break the phone. And neither of those two things are good to break. So it's not easy. In fact, I'm probably gonna have to pause the video for a second to get this back off here. But it really isn't easy to take the back off. It's not too impossible, so I wouldn't really make that a deal breaker. But certainly I wish BLU made it a little bit easier to take this off. And it's important to be able to take this off because when you first get the phone, the battery is going to be in the box and you have to put it in. And you're also going to have to take this back off to access the micro SD card slot and SIM card slot. So with a little bit of struggling, I did manage to remove the back side of the phone. Now I'm 24, I'm young, and I'm having trouble with this. I can only imagine if you are older and if you have very long fingernails, and maybe if your fingernails are a bit brittle, then good luck to you with taking the back side of this phone off. You might want to ask for some help. Now here is the battery. Now I'm not going to take it out because it'll turn off the phone and everything. This phone is actually dual SIM compatible, which is a great thing to see. So technically you can put 2 different SIM cards in the phone and have 2 different active lines, whether that's with data or calls or both. So this is SIM slot 1, that's SIM slot 2, and there's the micro SD card slot. Now I was using this phone with Cricket and it has been working very well. It's given me nice, decent call quality. I did take the SIM card out though because I'm now testing it with a different phone. But considering how difficult it is to take the back of this phone off, you're probably just going to want to put your SIM card in there and never take this back off to access it again, to be honest. But the good news though is that when you want to put this back onto the phone, it's very simple and very easy. So that's not a problem at all. It snaps on very easily and you're good to go. So you're going to be able to play most basic games with no issue with this phone, whether that's Temple Run like this game or playing Candy Crush, or just something that's not very demanding. You will be able to get PUBG Mobile to work on here, but it's definitely not going to run as well as it would on a more expensive device. As you can see, everything performs nice and smoothly here with Temple Run. The good news too is that this display does make the game look very nice and clear. So that's pretty much a common thing that I've noticed with pretty much everything I've done on this phone. So that's definitely nice. Now, if you're a big user of Instagram, then you're definitely going to like the phone as well because Instagram does perform smoothly on here. As you can see, scrolling is nice and smooth. You can easily swipe over and you can take selfies. You can do whatever you want to put on your story. I don't know what you put on your story. But yeah, you can record yourself. So I'm now recording a video with the BLU Vivo X5. Let me crank up the volume. BLU Vivo X5. Video with the BLU Vivo X5. So the quality really isn't bad at all. In fact, it's pretty decent, especially for a phone in this price range. I know that BLU has definitely come a long way because I've used other devices about maybe a year ago, such as the BLU Vivo Go and BLU R2 Plus 2019. And those phones were pretty much in the same price range, but their cameras were nowhere near as good as the cameras on the Vivo X5. So BLU has really amazed me. And clearly this company is focused on constant improvement and providing more and more value to their customers. So great job, BLU. Now this is the box that the BLU Vivo X5 comes in. I'm a bit disappointed by the design of the box because in the past, BLU has put these really interesting designs on the packaging. This is a bit more standard like you'd expect with any OEM out there, but really it's a box. I'm going to look at it for a second and then put it away forever, right? So I'm not going to lose sleep over the design. But on the back side, you do have some of the specifications. Of course, I've gone through these throughout the video already, so that doesn't really matter. I do want to show you, though, all the different accessories that come included, and there's quite a bit. So I'm just going to dump all this stuff out right here. And the first thing that we get is a clear plastic TPU case. So this case certainly isn't anything too impressive, but the fact that you do get a case included in the box is definitely something I appreciate. Then we have this really cool looking BLU sticker. What's also awesome about BLU is that every phone they put out has a unique sticker in the box. So you can pretty much build up a collection of these if you continue to buy more and more BLU phones. We have a BLU branded wall adapter in the box as well. We get a micro USB cable for charging and data transfer. The USB cable is nice and thick and durable. Great to see. We get some BLU branded headphones included, and it includes a microphone on here and also a play pause button and also a button here that also allows you to stop and end calls. We also have some BLU headphones included here in the box. They are 3.5mm headphones, which is to be expected because this phone does have a 3.5mm headphone jack. We also get a microphone here on the headphones and also a button here that allows you to take calls and end calls and play and pause music. We get a plastic screen protector that comes included. And we also get a tempered glass screen protector included in the box as well. And there's also a cleaning cloth so you can make sure your display is nice and clean before adding on this screen protector. Now that's really a nice thing to see that they do include this because I'm not aware of too many third-party accessories being available, especially on Amazon. So the fact that you get this already included means that you don't have to go out and buy that separately and you get it for free. And who doesn't like free things? Video if it's worth spending the extra devices are GSM. So you'd think with an inexpensive budget phone like this one, the speakers wouldn't be that great, but actually you get very decent speaker quality with the phone. Now, it doesn't quite get loud enough where you could play music while you're taking a shower, maybe if your shower is very quiet, but you're gonna have no problem laying in bed or laying on your couch and watching video content on here or playing music. It definitely gets loud enough for that. So very nice clear speakers on the phone. It is a bit unfortunate that the speaker is located on the back of the device, but it does work decently well, so there's really not a whole lot of room to complain. I am very happy with the photo and video quality from the BLU Vivo X5. Now, certainly the quality is nowhere near what you get with a flagship smartphone, but considering the very low price of this device, I am very impressed. You get a variety of modes as well, including portrait mode on the front and rear cameras, but you also get HDR, and the photos definitely look pretty decent. Definitely good enough where you could post them on social media or send them to family, and they wouldn't be making fun of you for having a camera that's not good. So, especially compared to other phones that I've used from BLU in this price range in the past, they've really stepped it up a notch with the Vivo X5 because everything looks nice and clear here. Another nice surprise too is that with portrait mode, especially with the front-facing camera, it is a true portrait mode. So it actually does blur out the edges all around you. So it's an adaptive portrait mode because in other budget phones in this price range that I've used in the past, sometimes what they call portrait mode literally is just a circle around you with the edges blurred out. But this is a true portrait mode where it actually figures out what's in the background and what's in the foreground and then blurs accordingly. So I'm very happy with the quality from the BLU Vivo X5, and I really don't have a whole lot more to say about it. I mean, I think the pictures definitely speak for themselves. Maybe a little bit more color saturation would be better, but I'm still very happy with the quality, and there's really no room to complain at this price tag. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with a test video with the BLU Vivo X5. So let me know what you think of the quality. We do have autofocus in video mode, but it is a little bit on the slower side. Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, coming at you with a front-facing test video from the BLU Vivo X5. So let me know what you think of the quality here. But I think it looks pretty decent from what I can see through the viewfinder, especially for a phone as inexpensive as this one. Let's now take a look at some video samples. So I am very impressed with the BLU Vivo X5. Probably the only thing that would stop me from recommending the BLU Vivo X5 is that you can get the BLU Vivo XL5 for just an extra $30. So currently the BLU Vivo XL5 is being offered on Amazon for $129.99. You'll also be able to find a review of that phone on this channel, so definitely check that out. But this is a good phone on its own, don't get me wrong. But if you do want to spend the extra $30, you can get the BLU Vivo XL5, and it is a bit better. Definitely take a look at my comparison video to see the differences between this phone and that phone. So I guess really I do recommend the BLU Vivo X5. I certainly don't think it would be a bad phone to buy. It's a solid device. I like the display, it looks decent. The cameras create good results too, and the performance has been solid. I'm also really happy that this phone features 64 gigs of internal storage, because at $99, that's almost unheard of in the industry. But definitely check out my comparison video between the BLU Vivo X5 and the BLU Vivo XL5 to really see which one is a better fit for you. But this is Kevin here, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.